I understand I got a lot on my mind, a lot on my chest. That's why.
What's going on, everybody? Lil Jones with Midnight Comics here, and welcome to another awesome episode, or should I say the final episode of Season 2 of Indie Breakdown, the show where we break down your favorite indie comic book characters' stats, powers, and abilities, and get them prepared for an eventual indie versus matchup. So we have an awesome guest coming on for this last episode of Season 2. We're going to go ahead and bring him on, let him introduce himself and the character he brings to the Indie Breakdown today. What's going on, boss?
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Prince Hartsfield, Sammy J, one and only, got a lot of names. And today we're going to be talking about my original character from the Indie Saga, Khione, the Ice Queen herself.
Okay, so before we get started, I'm curious. Tell us just a brief kind of inspiration behind Khione, right?
Yes, Khione. And really, her inspiration comes from Dark Phoenix and the Scarlet Witch. Because just like the Phoenix and Scarlet Witch, the Ice Queen, that title, it means something, that there's a lot of lore to it. So when you see me say the Ice Queen, it's because that's literally a mantle that was given to her, and it really holds a lot of lore within the Imminent universe.
Okay. So let's start from the top then. First off, how old is she then, if you don't mind me asking? Is she kind of like an ancient being, or?
Khione, just like a lot of the elementals, are really older than what they look like. But it's just all elementals stop aging at a certain point because that's just how they're affected. And so to understand that a little bit, you just got to have a little bit of backstory with the entities, is because elementals are humans who have been affected with the Entient gene. And that was caused from when the entities were in the cosmos waging war against each other. And so Khione is a little bit different with that because she's actually Alpha's daughter, and Alpha is the entity of time. So Khione is really around 150 years old. She just doesn't know that herself yet.
Oh, wow. Okay, I can dig this. So tell me, obviously, with a title called the Ice Queen, there's got to be some ice powers and stuff in there. Can you dive into more of her kind of skill set or repertoire, if you would?
Yes, so she is a master cryomancy, and she can manipulate, create ice. But actually, her main power is thermokinesis, being able to lower the temperature. Because the lower the temperature is, the physically stronger she becomes, the more she can do with her ice abilities. And so that's her main powers. But again, she doesn't really know that. She's not really tapped in and keen into that yet. And we're going to explore more of that as we get into the Entity Saga. And so what Khione can do is, like I said, she can create and manipulate ice. She also can really formulate ice armor around her body, ice armor around other people's body as well. And she can even lower the temperatures around her and lower the temperatures inside people's bodies as well.
So really quick then, so if she can kind of lower the temperatures around her body and stuff, then does that in turn continue to make her stronger, and then she can kind of keep stacking like on top of that in that manner?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And then, of course, it goes without saying, you drop her somewhere, a battle starts taking place in, say, Antarctica or something like that, you might as well forget about it, because now it's kind of this infinite source of just...
Yeah, if she's in Antarctica, she's clearing house. She is clearing out.
Okay. So, hypothetically, just out of curiosity, now, so she could really freeze the world over easily, honestly.
Yeah.
At this point. Jesus. Okay. Okay. So outside of kind of the ice manipulation and stuff like that, then is there a limit to the usage of her powers, or because it's so innately ingrained or so ingrained into her that she's not getting exhausted with the usage of her powers?
Well, yes and no.
Okay.
Yes, because like I said earlier, the fact that she doesn't really know that she can do all of this, and that has a lot to do with Alpha, and with that being said, is because Alpha understands how powerful she is, right? Because this is a guy who can control time, manipulate time. He's been to the past and been to the future, so he's aware of what his daughter can do, and so her powers literally are kind of unlimited, and she definitely has the ability to kind of, like you were saying, freeze the world. But with that being said, there is a downside to it with the limitations, because with that much power, she really can't control it at all.
Okay.
And even when she's, when she's like lowering the temperatures and stuff, she can lower the temperature in her own body, but if it gets too low and things, she can die. She's not immortal.
Oh, okay.
So there is cons to her powers, and there are definitely limitations. I love creating overpowered characters, but I also love giving them, those cons to kind of like even it out, so she's not just crazy, crazy powerful and nothing can stop her.
Okay. So with that being said, I guess it would be a good segue. Let's talk about her durability then, right? Because yeah, what all can she take? And then we'll go back to like strength and stuff like that. But yeah, what all can she tank? How strong is she?
Khione is pretty durable. In the first comic that I dropped, the Indies one, you actually see her going against Omega, who's an entity himself, the entity of darkness. And she was able to kind of deflect some of his attacks. She was able to withdraw and withstand some of his attacks. And so she is very durable. And that has more so to do with, again, Alpha being her dad. That gives her really one up against a lot of the other elementals because, yes, she's still the elemental. She's half human. But that having Alpha as her father really, again, it just amps up what she
Gives
can
her
do.
a leg up.
Yeah.
So, sake of conversation, right? I find myself asking this often. So, sake of conversation, they try to drop a nuke on her. Oh, she's a threat, drop her. You know what I'm saying? Is she getting affected by that, or we need something way heavier to even be able to get to harm her?
It would depend kind of where she's at, and it also depends on how much she now can control her powers. Like, again, like we were saying before, if she's in Antarctica and they drop a nuke in Antarctica, she's going to survive that. 9 times out of 10, she's going to survive that. Now she's somewhere like the desert or something and drop a nuke on her. Khione, she might be out for the picture for a little bit. She might be down for the
but
count.
she'll survive at the end of the day, though.
Yeah, she definitely has the potential to survive. I would say as of right now, from what we've seen in book 1 and 2, dropping a nuke on her, nah, she's not going to survive. But as we get further in issue 3 and 4 and 5, you're going to see, okay, she's quite durable. She can do something.
Okay. I can definitely dig that. Side question. Is she able to survive in space?
No, she cannot survive in space.
Okay. I was wondering. I'm just like, okay. Because I'm thinking about I'm thinking about Jupiter Man at the moment, and I see it. I'm just like, okay, well, he could be in space, right? And I think Titan the Ultraman as well is in this. So I'm like, what if these characters try to hit her up there? Would she be able to survive? So I'm just gauging. Trying to figure out potential scenarios. So let me ask this: how heavy is she lifting? Right? Is she able to pick up a mountain and just toss that thing light work? Is she continent levels of strength? Where is she standing at?
As of right now, Khione can lift around about 2 to 3 tons.
Okay.
But when she's in full Ice Queen mode, I would say the max that she could probably lift is around 20 tons. Around there.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. These are I'm enjoying that everybody's like giving like numbers and stuff like that to help quantify that, because I think I'm trying to remember, and this is on the first episode of this season with Odina, and I'm trying to remember, I think that's about the same currently for her too, actually, as well. So I'll go back when I'm doing all the breakdowns and stuff like that. I'll be like, all right, but yeah, no, this is good. Thank you for giving us some clarifying numbers and stuff like that. So about 20 tons transformed, about 2 not transformed and stuff like that. And in regards to her controlling like the ice and stuff like that, to what level of degree of control? Like, is she able to lift anything that's ice up off of the ground and stuff like that around her? Does she have that level of manipulation with it?
For sure. And one of her feats that you see, and I believe it's book 2 of the entities, she starts creating just daggers from the ground, ice daggers from the ground, and chucking them at people. So when I say like she can create ice at will, she can just do it like that. And it helps, but it helps a lot more when there's ice around her. And even to a degree, certain levels of water. And, she can turn water to ice as well. And so when there's water and stuff around her, that helps her out a lot. Again, when we get to that Ice Queen mode, we'll be able to see Khione literally create ice and from the water that's around her, because there's water in the air. She can pull that water out of the air and turn that into ice and use that for armor.
Now, just to make sure I'm on the same page with you, when doing abilities like that, this is not taxing on her body or taxing on her energy, anything like that. Does she get tired doing that?
She does get tired, but she has a good level of stamina with her as well.
Okay, what is her level of stamina then? How long is she able to kind of keep this up at her current state in the books now?
At her current state in the books now, she can go for a smooth, I would say, around 12 hours straight, consistent 12
Okay.
hours. But we have to remember that Khione, a part of her backstory is, she's with her father, Alpha, and Alpha has put her through a lot of type training because he knows her potential. And, spoiler, not spoiler, I feel like we can already kind of tell, but Khione is gearing up to be the leader of the elementals.
Okay.
And so that's something that was kind of hinted at and established in book 1 and really in book 2. And in book 2, we see that Alpha, he travels to an alternate timeline in the future where, all the elementals are dead and Khione is one of the last ones standing. So that's like a hint that, okay, she is going to be the leader eventually. So I've been planting those seeds early on. And that's because Alpha has prepared her the most. And he's put her through a lot of training to make sure her stamina, her durability, her strength is where it needs to be.
Okay, so let's talk about that training. How long has she been getting trained by Alpha, and what did that training consist of exactly?
So she has been really being trained since she was a child, a little girl, and a lot of that training consists of Alpha has a tower. It's called the Tower of Time, and in that tower, he has a little room that's kind of like a void in a sense that allows them to use their ability to their max and not affect the space around them, the space and time around them.
Okay.
And so that's also where she learned to be a really good hand-to-hand combatant from him, excuse me, and really where she got a lot of her cryomancy and ice manipulation powers and knowing what to do. And she's very stealthy. Again, if you look at the first book in the Entities when she's fighting Omega, she's really able to keep up with him. And that's something that's an impressive feat because Omega literally is the second best fighter in the Imminent Universe.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is able to keep up on par with him and go toe-to-toe with him. But again, there's more to that story because, like I said earlier, she's really around 150 years old. She just doesn't know it yet because, it's revealed in book 1 as well that Alpha has took the memories away from everybody.
Huh. Okay. Okay. Lot to dive into and dig into there. So she's keeping up with the second strongest person in the verse right now. Doesn't fully realize what she is really, or or everything that she could do yet. Okay. She's got stamina enough to fight for a good 12 hours. She's lifting 20 tons in Ice Queen mode, 2 tons in normal mode. Let's see. Can control and create ice at will, no matter where she's at. The level degree of how much and how long depends on her particular area, right? Okay.
Right.
And then the training, years wise, how long has she been? How long has she been training?
In this current right now, I will just say she's been training for around 18 years.
Okay.
Let's just say that. Realistically, it's been a little longer, but we haven't got to that point yet. So I just want to keep it, with what we've gotten to so far. So she's been training what we got to so far around 18 years.
Okay. Now, in regards to how hard she hits, right? We talked about how much she's lifted, how much she can kind of tank, if you would. But if she like able to hypothetically punch a crater into the moon? Is she leveling mountains? Like how necessarily strong is her physical strikes? Not necessarily the ice and stuff like that, but her actual natural strength. And then I'm going to ask about speed in a second too.
Okay. So I would say when it comes to things like that with like punching, I would say that that's pretty above human, a little bit above human. You know what I'm saying? Not anything too crazy, just like in a regular form, nothing too crazy, but just a little bit above human. So I would say if we could compare to somebody, I would say she can hit as hard as, let's say, Captain America around
Fair
him.
enough.
Just a little bit harder than Captain America.
Okay.
But she also knows how to pull her punches as well. You feel me?
And then, so then, like, how fast is she moving then? Is she she's not a speedster, I'm assuming, but I'm assuming she's definitely faster than, like, an Olympic runner.
Yes, yeah, definitely not a speedster. She can't keep up with somebody like Ryder, who's my universe's speedster. Like, she's nowhere near that, or couldn't keep up with the Flash. But for her and Elemental, yeah, she definitely moves in a little faster than a regular human.
Okay. And then last couple things, her perception, right? Somebody fires a bullet at her, right? Is she able to perceive and react to that faster than that speeding bullet, or where's she stand in that kind of range?
I would say when it comes to that, that is more of like that's just normal for her. She can't really react faster to like grab the bullet. Like she sees it coming, she can't grab it. She can't do that per se. I
Mm-hmm.
would say that she definitely has defenses enough to take that hit, but if she's hit on caught off guard with the bullet, then that can definitely cause some damage for her.
Okay. And you know what? I think I failed to ask this earlier when we was talking about the ice powers and stuff. Um, how strong are those constructs of hers? Is she, let's say somebody, I mean, obviously she's fighting against Omega. So, like, first off, that's a feat in and of itself. But are people able to melt this ice? What is the strongest point that we've seen so far? Her ice being able to withstand? Yeah, that's the question. I'm sorry, worded it funny, but how much is her ice able to withstand in a battle?
So her ice is very durable. Again, in issue one of the entities, like I said, she's fighting Omega. Omega fires a blast at her, a dark blast at her, and she is able to deflect it using her katana that she turned to ice.
Okay.
Now it definitely can be melted, depending on what she's trying to do and what the figure is. It can be melted. We have characters that can counter her ice attacks as well.
So I got a question, and this is a Omega question technically, but it'll help kind of scale out her ice. Well, how strong is Omega's blast then? What kind of stuff is it able to destroy?
So it can destroy. I believe we see it in it's either issue 1 or 2, but Omega's blast can destroy cars. It can destroy buildings. He shot an attack at he literally shot an attack at a special agent and it disintegrated him. So those blasts are pretty powerful.
Okay, and then she's able to swipe it away with ice. Okay, okay. Um, I think that might be all I got. We talked about speed. We talked about durability. We talked about her perception and reaction speed. We talk about how much she's lifting, how strong her punches are. I guess we could talk about that weapons training really quick. How skilled is she with this katana?
That is her go-to weapon, and I love the katana because it's actually a gift from her mother. I can't get into much into that about who her
Fair
mother
enough.
is because I don't want to spoil anything. But it's one of those things like how the 10 rings are artifacts and something. That katana, it has lore to it and it means something. And so that is a special katana of hers, and she's been at it since she was a little girl.
Mm-hmm. So
Again,
okay. Oh, so you said she's had it since she was a little girl. So this has got you. It truly is an extension of herself at this point.
absolutely.
Okay. Is she able to make, is she able to make kind of any type of sentient constructs? Went frozen there for a second, but it just popped in my head like, you know what? Wait a second. Is that a thing? Can she make a sentient ice construct there?
She definitely can, but like not right now. That's
Okay.
something more once we get to like Ice Queen territory, when she's like full, realize all of her potential. But yeah, she definitely can, but just not right now.
Okay. And then I think we touched on combat IQ and intelligence. Well, I guess somewhat when we talked about the fact that she was able to keep up with Omega. But how many battles has she been in? And I guess we don't really need to worry about how good she is because, again, she fought the second strongest person in the verse. So how many battles has she been in at this point?
At this point, she's fought Omega. She did a round with Dark Lightning. She had a little scuffle with Hurricane, nothing too crazy, but she let him know, like, I will knock your ass down if you don't calm down. So she's been in a couple of good ones that can really just show she's ready to stand on business with whatever. And one of the things that I love about Khione's character is you would think with her being Alpha's daughter that she's so loyal to him, but reality, she's not really loyal to Alpha because she doesn't trust him. And she's starting to realize that certain things aren't adding up with his story and that he just keeps keeping secrets from them. And I feel like that's what really is going to make her the leader, and it's going to set her up to be the leader because she's going to realize, and she's going to come to that realization that, hey, you're holding out on us, and I don't trust you. And we're going to see that disconnect between Alpha and Khione when more and more secrets are being
Revealed.
unraveled and revealed and things. And she's going to take the stand and be like, you know what? I'm the leader of the elementals, not you anymore, because you can't be trusted. And I love that she's so outspoken, and she's not afraid of Alpha. She's not afraid to stand up to him. You know, we see in a lot of the other books that characters like Titan and Helios and even Hurricane to a degree, they have a lot of loyalty to Alpha because Alpha he's done some good. You know, Alpha is a good guy, and he does things for the right reason. He just does them in a really shady way.
Gotcha.
And she's the type of person where she doesn't tolerate that. She doesn't like the shady stuff that he's been doing. So that's one of the really interesting things that I love about Khione and her character is that she's just not loyal to her dad, and she doesn't agree with his way of things.
Gotcha. It's not blind loyalty for her.
Right.
So let me ask this. How smart is she? Is she genius level intellect? Where does she fall?
Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that she's genius level intellect. I wouldn't give her that. But I would definitely give Khione the fact that she has great common sense and she can pick up on things. And hint of that, you know, was when they took Hurricane. This is in book 2. They took Hurricane back to the tower, and Hurricane is kind of spilling some tea. He was like, you know, they're probably talking about how Alpha messed up again. And, you know, he's saying we're elementals. We stop aging at a certain point. And she's just like, why didn't my dad tell me that? It's my father. He didn't tell me these things, but he's told me all these other stories. And she's slowly starting to pick up on how much Alpha's really lying. And so she's just kind of connecting some dots of like, okay, hey, certain things aren't making sense. So she can pick up on things pretty quickly. I definitely give her that. And I like her common sense with things.
Okay. I'm liking this character because, you know, at first I was like, man, I was like, I'm shocked he didn't pick like Alpha or Omega. Like, how strong is she gonna be then? I don't know. We got some heavy hitters in this one. But now diving into it, because honestly, I didn't know anything about her to that degree, and I'm like, you got Nia X from Advent coming up. You got Jupiter Man from the Idolverse, and I'm just like, those two alone are heavy hitters of those verses. Oh no, is she gonna be able to? You know, you got Odina, right? I'm like, man, is she punching on this weight level? And after you just did this explanation, I'm like, you know what? This is a viable character. This is a viable character in any of these matchups. So, apologies there for underestimating the character. First off. And this is partially why I love doing this, because like I'll see characters, I'd be like, yeah, I think my characters can watch them. Yeah, for sure. I remember seeing Titan the Ultraman. So Tony, here's the real. I remember seeing Titan the Ultraman, like Soul's watching him. Easy. This isn't even a conversation. What are we talking about? He's watching them. And then I learned about the powers, not in the interview because he did Nia, but in the Facebook group, and I'm just like, oh. Yeah, nah, I'm sorry. My bad. You got it. I'm the Krillin in the group, apparently, because y'all's characters is up there. I'm like, yo. But neither here nor there, man. Before we close out, of course, I want you to go ahead and let everybody know who's listening and watching, where they can find you, how they can support you, and all that good stuff there.
Yes, so please follow me on Instagram at eminentcomics _. And also follow me on TikTok. I'm developing a really good following on TikTok. That's Eminent Universe 101. So please follow me, support me, man. I'm really doing a rewash of my website because I want to put out the best quality for everybody. And I will be relaunching my website again in March. So again, Thank you guys so much for having me. Support me. I appreciate this, man. I love doing stuff like this.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And thanks for coming on, man. I know we had a rocky start in regards to it with scheduling and stuff like that, man. Partially on me just now. Man, thank you for your patience with me on this. This has been fun, and this is the last episode for season 2 already. So very, very excited. The next phase for this is the indie versus phase. So we're finishing up the breakdowns. You guys that are listening and watching, obviously you guys, Patreon and Spotify, you can get this first. What you can look forward to, if you don't remember from the first season, or this is the first time you're listening to this show, Which, why are you already on episode 20? You need to go back to episode 1. Anyway, for whatever reason, the next phase is the Indie Versus phase. What we're gonna do once all the episodes air on Patreon, Spotify, and start going on Facebook Live and all this other stuff, you guys get an opportunity to meet these characters. We're gonna do what's called a creator clash. We're gonna go live, get as many of the people on from from season 2 on. We're gonna hear who they want to fight against, right? And they're gonna explain to us why they think their character can win. And if you missed any of the previous character breakdowns, we're going to play who they challenged on the live so you guys could see. And then they got to explain, all right, now that I know the powers, here's how I think I can win. Or, well, shoot, I ain't know those powers. Nah, he ain't winning. So, like, we get to hear from the creators who they think can win and how. And then at the end of that, we're going to run the randomizer wheel. We're going to find out who the matchup is out of all the characters in season 2. And then we're going to write a scenario. We're going to post the scenario. We'll have Tasha read it out, kind of audio drama almost-esque way. And then we'll give you guys our verdict, and we get to hear whether or not you guys agree with it. But then that'll be the end of season 2. And we're gonna move on to season 3. So that's what's going on there. The whole kind of next phase of Indie Versus there. But to close us out here, of course, this has been another wonderful episode of Indie Breakdown, another awesome season, a lot of awesome people. So big shout out. Thank you for being on. Thank you, everybody that's come on and everybody that's listening and watching. We truly appreciate you guys. Of course, definitely check out midnightcomics.org. We have a whole host of things going on over there where we still have the Midnight Adventures audio drama. You can check out all the blog posts and stuff like that lead to all the Indie Verses and breakdown videos and all of that other stuff. We have our What If Wednesdays that's on Patreon. We have our community character creation nights where you guys can be background characters in the Midnight Comics universe and we make the character together live. Again, all on Patreon. We have our What We're Reading series on YouTube where you guys can check all the books that we're currently reading and our thoughts on them. And then, there's so many things I am forgetting at the moment. We recently, if you guys are just now really trying to get into the process of creating a story, need help with developing a story, a character, or at this point now, by the time this airs, our masterclass for learning how to utilize the public domain characters to really push forward, either use it as a springboard to create your universe or actually use public domain characters in your universe as original stories and stuff like that. We're running a masterclass for that as well. So if you guys are interested in that type of thing, all of that stuff is available on there. And I'm forgetting something. I know I'm forgetting something. Check us out on all of our social media pages at Midnight X Comics, except for Facebook and YouTube, where we're Midnight. We are Midnight X Comics everywhere except for Facebook and YouTube. Boom. I knew I was going to get that wrong. All right. But that's where you can find us. Of course, midnightcomics.org has all that good stuff. And before I get into rambling territory, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for coming on, Prince. And remember, until next time, everybody, midnight is coming.